and welcome to Analyst Hangout. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. Well, joining me today are Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consulting. He's right here with me. Good to have you with me.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. And virtually we'll be joined by Olumuyiwa Adeyemi, the MD at Atlas Portfolios Limited. And right now we have with us Rotimi Olubi, MD ARM Securities Limited. Hello, Rotimi. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me to the show.
Thanks for joining us. Anyway, let's start with the review of activities for this week. I'd like to start with you. So tell us, what has it been? I remember we had a conversation, was it on Wednesday, when I talked about the fact that it's becoming bullish and you said, no, we shouldn't celebrate. We shouldn't celebrate. So what should we do now?
No, it's good that the market maintained an uptrend for straight 4 days, and I'm happy for that. But it almost tested the 51,800 today, but let's hope for next week, Monday, being the last trading week for the month, closer to the end of the month, the market sustain this green position we are seeing for the last part. It's a good one, but if you look at the market performance, for me, it's a welcome development. After market have lost last week, coming back this week, tells that our market is becoming stronger. But the good thing is that also investors should not be carried away with the upside market. I always say it, because when you see this kind of rebound, you want to see what are the factors behind the rebound. I would say good one, we are seeing that bargain hunters are taking advantage of the pullback. But at the end of the day, don't be carried away because market is going up. Always set your profit targets, use your stop loss at all times so that at the end of the day, you'll be at the winning side of the market.
All right, I remember you were saying something about that, but I'm not sure if you already talked about the sustainability of what's happening now. Will it be sustained, or should we?
I said my target that was across the 51,800 this week, but it didn't test. It just tested it today, didn't cross. Next week, if you cross, I will not say yes, the bull is back to the market. Because if you look at other momentum indicators like what we call ADS, and also looking at the money flow, they are looking up together with the price performance or index action. Tells you that the market is also coming back powerfully. But until cross that 51,800 to touch 52,000 mark, we now say a new rally has come, because after market have touched 54,012, pulling back to almost 50,000 again. Before you can see, we did not trace almost 4,000 points between 54 and 50. Now coming back again to around this point, it's a good move, but let's see what next week now. But I'm happy that the market closed positive for the week. That gives a lot of investors confidence that yes, our market is not following the trend of the international market. Because when the market was losing last week, people were calling me, our market back to what is happening in other markets. I said no, not that our market is different from other markets. And also when oil price is going up, our market is bound to go up. But for this week, so that oil price was also pulling back. That's why I said sustainability of our market was shaking at the beginning when we saw the first day market was in green, because oil price is falling between 109 and 118. For me, that is the point we're looking at. But as far oil price above $100, it's a good thing for our market, because our market and our country, because if that means that at the end of the day, since our benchmark for 2022 budget is around 75% for the benchmark for oil. At 100, we're already in surplus. That's why that at the end of the day, CBN should not give us story. Let's manage the economy well. That is why the World Bank said our economy will grow by 3.4 in 2022, because they know that as oil producing economy, we're having more money. Well, it's only a problem is that we are producing to meet OPEC.
Exactly,
if we're able to produce and meet it, we're good to go.
All right, we have Rotimi with us. Rotimi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, we'd like to take your thoughts on what's happening in the market.
I was surprised when I heard Ambrose saying that our market has been going up and then our market is bullish. Andrew and I have been colleagues in the capital market for a while. We have a similar view of the market, but today it's a bit different thing.
No, I didn't say that it's bullish. Hold on. I didn't say that market is bullish. I said market is on the green until cross 51,800 before I would say market is bullish. I didn't say it's bullish. You didn't hear me very well. Go ahead.
Okay, so what we are seeing is a totally different market that we have.
Yeah.
A market that the indicator does not reflect the true value of investors. So you see the index going up, and then the investors' portfolios are losing value. So if you look at the way the index is structured, it doesn't truly reflect the true basket of the entire equity listed.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why the sectoral indicators are very good to also look at. Go ahead. Yeah.
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Feel free, go ahead. We'll hear you.
Okay, I guess we probably lost connection with you. Yes, we're talking about the sectoral indicators. Now, let's look at the sectors. What sectors should we be looking at now?
Those like Rotimi just said, yes, I said the market is not rebounding now until you look at the 51,800. If you look at other sectors, you can see that the banking sector have been a mixed trend up and down. But seeing those three dividend paying bank stocks, they're likely to sustain some stability. If you look at the price of Zenith Bank, trying to resist, going down below 21 naira, GTB around that price, but Access Bank brings stable around there. 9 naira 50 kobo and above. For me, it's a good one. Only UB, I'll say yes, is below 8 naira and around the 7 naira 54 kobo. I see that next week that we're into the last trading week of the month and also the end of the quarter. We'll see that first of all position for this dividend in the month of July and August. Knowing that this banking result will come in the second week of August, but only MTN and others I expect that will come within the month of July. But for the banking sector, they need to also send their report to the regulator to approve before they can announce their trade dividend. But for a company like Nigeria Brewery, something like MTN, it will come in the month of July.
All right. Rotimi, we would like to have your thoughts now. We lost connection with you earlier. Rotimi, if you're there. Okay, I guess we lost connection with him. Well, that's a very good one. Now, I would like to know how are players, reacting to the macroeconomic data and then the forecast of results being released?
Yeah, I would say the forecast so far released by quoted companies, most of them are missed. Why good are also some are also looking up. What Presco released 2 days ago. We saw that of Eternal Oil also. Now some insurance company forecast for 2022 Q3 numbers. It's okay, but let's see the actual performance for Q2 first before we can come. But the Q3 numbers are okay. Also, if you look at the economic data, form of the last inflation figure that was released about 17.71. Also, for me, it's a threat to the market and the economy. But for those that know how to invest wisely, know that there are some sectors and individual stock that will give you return above what inflation is doing now. You ask me how. Because if you look at the dividend yield of most of the companies, I think the highest will be around 14 or 15%, which is also below the inflation. But if you look at that the dividend yield and plus a capital appreciation between now and end of the year, we think that at the end of the day, we should have above inflation figure, and that is how to hedge against inflation. And those sectors also, the companies that are operating are able to pass the high cost of operation and by increasing their price to shareholders. If that's also done successfully, the post-positive number, that also reflect on the price, because price feed on what? On earnings.
All right. Well, very quickly, let's move on to Wano now. We have this that on Wednesday, June 22, Wano finally released its long-anticipated full year-end 2019 and 2020 financial statements. Now, you recall that the 3-year delay in the release of the company's results was as a result of Securities and Exchange Commission that SEC suspension of Wano's 2018 AGM following a dispute with an indirect shareholder, Ansbury Investment Incorporated. The suspension of the company's 2018 AGM and attendant issues prevented shareholders from being kept abreast of business operations, a move Wano and her executives described as not being in the best interest of the market. I guess Rotimi is with me now. I'd like to know, how are investors reacting to this particular news, seeing that the actions of both SEC and the indirect shareholder contributed largely to eroding, the stock value significantly from its listing price of an average of 9 naira per share in 2017 to about 3 naira and about 5 naira 7 kobo per share in 2022. Rotimi, can you hear me? Okay, I think I'd like you to.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, Wano. Wano is one of those stocks that is a nightmare for investors in the capital market.
Yeah.
Okay.
We recall that Wano at some point got to an all-time high of I think about 200 naira. So try to imagine investor that is holding Wano in his portfolio at over 100 or at over 200. Try to imagine the loss level. So that's to what level of loss of investor confidence that we have in the capital market. Wando is one of those companies that promise so much in terms of expectation, outlook for the future, and it's now more of a nightmare. I think at some point, as part of their strategy, they were trying to grow via acquisition to become maybe the largest oil producing company at some point. And then so they were busy acquiring different assets and all
Yeah.
that. So I think this one major move that they made that spoiled the whole plan was the acquisition of ConocoPhillips.
Yeah.
And I think apparently that particular acquisition led them to a lot of debt, and they've not been able to come out of it. That was a bad purchase for them. And since then, we've seen their share price decline significantly. They've had lots of litigation, lots of issues, and then continuous decline in terms of valuation and all that. So I'm not surprised to see a result like this and all that. I will look at it now. So investors that's why the problem with equity is called ordinary shares because it can
Yes.
become ordinary when value is eroded.
Eroded, yeah.
It's almost tending toward that level. I know that. It's going forward for investors. You want to leverage on the competencies of good analysts within the market to help you make better decisions. Even though if you had made wrong decision, you can always reallocate your
Portfolio,
investments
yeah.
or your portfolio into value. You should be buying value rather than noise. And I think Rwanda will be a case study for a lot of investors. It's not all that glitter that is gold.
Gold.
Okay, I think I will end it there. Now, I'd like you to comment on the 14 shareholders representing the minority shareholders that are asking for buyout. What's your take on that?
Actually, just like what Ruby just said, that instead of buying noise, go for value. It's like Wano is one of the noise in the market for years, and investors have really gotten their finger about investing in Wano. And if you look at what is just playing out now, it tells you how transparent this company.
Are you in my
How transparent this company is called Wano. And many investors for the past 2 years have been speculating on these stocks. Go in, go out. When it was suspended, it was flat. But when it was lifted by SEC, we saw a little rally, people made money. Since then, we've been speculating that because oil price have rebounded, let's see what will come when it bought. This award continues to surprise investors with this kind of result that came. Yeah, we're just seeing about 132.7 billion loss for 2022. If you look at what the auditors recommended in that account, that they should go and look for fresh funds to put in the company, because about 430 billion loss was accumulated, and for me, it's not a good thing for Wando. And to crown it up, in the process of releasing this abysmal result, they just came to tell us that minority shareholders are demanding for the listing. And I'll tell you, since I joined this market, I think I joined the equity market, that 2000, when I served in Lagos State around 2001, I joined the market. This is the first time hearing that minority shareholder is demanding that you should buy it and the list. When I read that, I'm trying to interpret it now. But let's wait and see. But I don't know. It's another way of wanting to say, yes, they are going to step out on the exchange. They want to delist. Let them come out, openly and say they want to delist. Not time to the.
Well, the thing is, it's the minority shareholders that are asking for buyout, and then the court has ordered them to have a meeting where.
Wait, I'm coming now. Before the minority shareholder will ask for buyout, the first place, if you have issue with a whole company, the first place to go is to go to SEC and report. From SEC, you go to tribunal, investment tribunal. Before court will be the last phase for you. But now we're hearing that. They went to court. 14 shareholders, minority went to court to demand for buyout and all the stuff, and court have granted it, saying that
they should have a meeting and at the end of the day, when they have three-quarter agree.
If they vote for it, but the one thing, would they vote? I know that most investors will vote because they are tired of up and down toast in Wando. But at the same time, also let's look at
in wrapping up.
Okay. At the same time, let's look at what is happening in Wando. I would just say that because, in a real sense, when you have about 42 shareholders asking about 68 shareholders to buy us out and delist us, for me there is something behind that we are yet to understand. I think Owando and those shareholders should come out and inform, because they are not only 14 of them. 14 of them didn't represent.
Well, you're looking at the 14. They said that this 14 actually, when it comes to the share, the shares, they hold a large amount. I guess that's why we have that happening there. About 14 of them, they hold a large amount of the shares, and I guess that's why, they have that
if
particular power.
if that is what we still want to hear, but I think they have given a SEC and the NGS about 30 days to come with a merger a scheme to buy out the minority. Let's see. We are still waiting to know. But my advice for investors in that position is that it's better you cut your loss now in that kind of position and see. But if those are saying that they want to buy out, they might move the price up. Fine, but I guess Wano buying out and put the price up. And if they want to buy, it's not going to buy on the floor. They want to make a scheme that buy out the minority. For me, that means looking at the floor for you to say you are buying Rwanda at this time. I think you are doing the worst mistake in your investment decision. But Rwanda has become a carcass to me. For me, investors should look away for that stock now. Enough of speculation in Rwanda. Let's buy real value. Look at that sector as value and position down. We know that yes, like I tell one of my colleagues that among the oil sector that is booming now, we know the risk stocks in oil sector. We know the noise.
It's all right. I was looking for that figure where we're told that 14 shareholders are holding a total of 299,257,869 shares. I think that's a lot.
For me, with what is the share in issue? The share in issue is more than more than a billion shares. If you are having somebody having it, for me, it's okay. It's a good one, but that is enough for tenants that to take for others. Okay. That's why they have to wait for vote. The court knows why they say let them vote. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. All right, and moving on, Wema Bank closed trading day Monday, June 20, 2022 at 3 naira 17 kobo per share on the NGX. It began the year with a share price of 72 kobo and has since gained 340% on that price valuation, ranking it first on the NGX banking and second on the NGX equity market. Now, Wema Bank is the 38th most valuable stock on the NGX with a market capitalization of 40.8 billion naira, which is about 0.149% of the NGX equity market. Now, the question for me right now is 340% rise in 6 months. What are your thoughts?
When investors hear such a tremendous return on investment, you'll be thinking that is it really? I will tell you that this is just a share reconstruction that impacted on that price. It's not that the company has performed to give investors such value. And when share is recorded, you always going to lose some of your shares, either 1 for 4 or 1 for 5, depending. But I think for Wema Bank was 1 for 4. They have reduced your holding drastically. Then at the price telling that some of them are still not seeing their losses. Thus, it's a figure that analysts or people like you didn't factor in what happened. I telling me the price moved from 80 kobo to this. No, that is not it, because there was share construction. For me, I think that one should be aside.
Well, it's just your thoughts on the
no,
issue.
It is not value really that have transformed to profit for investors, because to share the construction that happened, the price move will jump to 3 naira or 340 around there. It's not that the company performance have moved the price from where we were before to this level. For me, I don't see it as a return. I don't see it as share reconstruction price. You want to see the real value when the company starts performing and it support the price, the new price, because most companies in Nigeria, after share reconstruction, most of the investors are in a deeper loss because the performance will drop. Only few of them, like Stanbic IBTC, I would say it's among the first company in Nigeria here that this share construction today is selling above the constructed price. Every other ones are selling below the constructed price, which is very poor.
All right. Rotimi, let's have your thought on this one. Rotimi, can you hear me? I guess we lost connection with him right there. Anyway, I guess we've taken your thoughts on that, and of course that's quite instructive for investors, and then we know what to do moving forward. Well, we take a break now, and when we return our attention to results of select companies. Stay with us and don't go away.